Danny Trejo is one of Hollywood's most recognizable bad guys, playing roles in movies and TV like Machete, Breaking Bad, From Dusk Till Dawn, and Desperado. But don't let his mastery of tough and deadly roles fool you. They are nothing like the man himself. Now he's looking back in his new memoir, Trejo, My Life of Crime, Redemption, and Hollywood. We visited the 77-year-old at his Los Angeles home to talk about his journey from the infamous San Quentin State Prison to a life helping others find sobriety, with blockbusters all along the way. If looks could kill, Danny Trejo just might be the most menacing actor in Hollywood. Channeling his real-life rage, he created the ultimate badass on screen.
The director loved me the way I was portraying these guys. And then he said, Danny, how do you do that? I watch you, this killer, and then you immediately go play with your kids. Because I've been that guy. That guy makes me sick.
Being that guy is at the heart of his cathartic confessional. Born in 1944 to Mexican immigrants, Danny grew up in an abusive home in Los Angeles.
I can remember my dad threatening to kill me, 7 years old. I remember my grandfather, I'll break every bone in your body. That's when I learned to love my Uncle Gilbert. My grandfather would be like this tyrant, frothing at the mouth at us. I'd be scared to death, and Gilbert would be going, nodding. He was on heroin. I didn't know it. I wanted to be like that.
He idolized his uncle, who got him high when Danny was just 8. Gilbert put a gun in his hands and taught him how to act tough.
They put me in front of a mirror and they practice as I said, give me the money. Give me the money. Gilbert gave me a sawed-off shotgun. And the minute you hold a sawed-off shotgun, you don't have to say anything. That was my first acting lesson.
At 13, 14 years
Yeah.
old. A violent young adult, Trejo spent 11 years in and out of California's most notorious prisons for crimes including selling drugs and armed robberies.
In 1968, I made a promise, Lord, if you let me die with dignity, I'll say your name every day and I'll do whatever I can for my fellow inmate. And I said inmate because I never thought I was getting out of prison.
While behind bars, he began attending AA meetings, and when released in 1969, he became a drug counselor. Some 15 years later, Danny stopped by the set of Runaway Train, trying to help a struggling addict stay clean.
I got it.
The director took notice of his cold, sullen stare. When he learned Trejo had been a boxing champ in prison, he put him in the ring with the film star Eric Roberts, launching a career that now boasts some 400 on-screen appearances.
In the county jail, the floors are always waxed because they have free labor.
In his garage full of classic cars, Trejo recreated a prison floor like the ones he was forced to sleep on.
I remember where if I screw up, I can go back real quick,
How often do you come out here and put a roll of toilet paper behind your head?
Once a week.
Once a week? Really?
You gotta stay grounded.
Murals of his movies are also a connection to his past.
I put Michelle there because she's just absolutely go-to-hell gorgeous. And I put her in front of Bob's Big Boy because we robbed Bob's Big Boy in 1962.
And inside his home, just 13 miles from where he grew up, he showed us his pride and joy. You wear sparkle shoes?
Of course. These are actually penitentiary boots.
Why do you keep these?
Because I never want to wear them again. It's like people ask me a lot of times, well, don't you ever get a yen to use drugs? I never want to go back. I remember showering with 50 men and trying not to look. I can remember being shook down and being stripped down. And that's what drugs mean to me, So
The shame.
The shame.
That shame motivates his charity work, going to prisons to speak to inmates about getting clean.
Everything good that has happened to me has happened as a direct result of helping someone else. Everything.
The tough guy, who's really a softie,
It's okay.
Come on, boys. Get up.
is taking readers on a frightening journey from trauma to triumph. What do you hope people take away from reading this?
Redemption. You know what? I want people that it doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end up.
You look super tough right now. He is quite the softie. You know, one of his most prized moments in life is that he got to meet President Obama. And what happened in that meeting is that President Obama sees him, steps out of line, and says, "I know you, Machete."
Yes.
And Trejo goes, "That's the most terrified I was in my life, that someone was yelling at me." And
But
it was the
Jamie,
president.
what a life. Listen, I'm embarrassed to say I never knew his name, but once I see his face, I certainly knew exactly who he was.
So recognizable.
But I did not know that backstory.
No, and you know what's funny? He's been in 400 films. He has credits to 400 films. He's had the most killings on camera of anyone. That's how much of a bad guy he is in these films, right? And he says sometimes it reminds him that, you know, his life could have gone the other way. My producer, Robin Singer, said to him, "It's shocking to me you've survived this long." And he said, "Yeah, it's sometimes shocking to me too."
But it's so remarkable that he's turned out the way that he has after being in an abusive home, being given drugs, being given a sawed-off shotgun, that he has turned his life around. Wow, that was a great story.
I loved when he said, "It doesn't matter where you started, it's where you end."